You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday, happy Mercury Day, and happy birthday to some notable Libras, including Nikki Hilton. But really, we got to focus on Kate Winslet. Is she not the most perfect representation of a Libra? Just so lovely. Who else? Guy Pearce, Jesse Eisenberg, giving some male Libra energy. Bernie Mac was a Libra, and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Okay, we love it. Travis Kelce. I have been shocked by how many Libras, Jesse Palmer, are celebrating their birthdays every day. I love that Jesse Palmer is a Libra too. Not that I'm like a huge Bachelor fan, but Libra is the sign of love. And I love that he is drawn to hosting The Bachelor, being The Bachelor. Kind of hilarious when we talk about Libra energy. Hi, Nick. Hey, Rachel. Diane, thanks for being here. Corby. Oh, and happy birthday to your fiance, Nate. Very exciting time for you all, getting ready for your wedding. And hopefully you take some time to just enjoy each other's company for his birthday. So we have a quick forecast today. The moon is in Aquarius and it's making some powerful connections, really highlighting this dynamic that we've been talking about 4 weeks now. Saturn squaring Uranus, this long-term transit, this final square between Saturn and Uranus that really, you know, this aspect was the major aspect we talked about all of 2021. Now that both planets are retrograde, they're making this final connection and they won't meet up in this 90-degree angle again until I think 2043. So this is a rare transit. The last time it happened was between 1999 and 2000, marking a big shift, a big change. And this really does feel like this final review of the major changes that we've gone through collectively as a society over the past 2 years. Aw, love that you guys are giving Diane's fiance a shout out. I know, so much to look forward to, you know, and before we get into the forecast, I think that that's really important. That's something that I have been feeling coming up since I got back from my trip, like how important it is to have fun things in our lives to look forward to. And so if you're feeling like you're in a little bit of a funk or a little blah, maybe you're not, but if you are, I know it's really important for me to have something to look forward to regularly. Because if not, I'm just like, what am I doing with myself? So awesome that you guys have your wedding to look forward to at the end of the month. Even Rachel has it to look forward to. We love that. Check on the energy. The sun is in Libra. The moon is in Aquarius. We're still in this very airy energy today. And that means we're more intellectually stimulated when the moon and the sun are in air signs. And the moon and sun are really flowing with each other nicely. But the transits the moon is making today are a little bit tense, fair warning. So let's just get into it. We'll start with what happened overnight. Really only 2 moments, if you will, to talk about in the forecast today. The first was at 3 a.m. Pacific time, so 6 a.m. Eastern time, maybe starting your day if you live in more Eastern time zones. But for many of us, this probably happened overnight. The moon was forming a sextile to Chiron. So you can see Chiron at 14 degrees, the moon, when it was at 14 degrees, that light blue line, it would have been a dark blue line at 3 a.m. And you can see how that was playing out. So when the moon forms a sextile to Chiron, Chiron, remember, is the wounded healer. And I want to take a little moment of review about Chiron, just for anybody who's new to astrology. So Chiron is the wounded healer, and in mythology, Chiron was this person who had this ailment, this wound that he could never heal. So he went out in search for all of the different healing modalities and became an expert on healing, but he was never actually able to heal himself. So for us in astrology, Chiron represents our deepest wounds and our ability to heal them. That's why it's represented by a key, if you look at it on the astrology chart, this little key here. What's interesting too is that Chiron is retrograde. So we've been doing a lot of review of our healing, so Chiron, being the wounded healer, represents not only our ability to heal ourselves, but also our ability to use those skills to heal other people once we've mastered our own healing. All of that to say, when the moon forms a sextile to Chiron, in a very basic sense, we're getting support along our healing journey. So even if you were asleep overnight, obviously 3 a.m. Pacific time, many of us were asleep, maybe you were revisiting some wounds in your dreams as your subconscious could kind of take over your experience. But what's interesting as well is that when the moon formed a sextile to Chiron, it also found itself exactly situated between the north and south nodes. In fact, I'm just going to jump back here so we can kind of see what we're talking about. Will we see it on the chart? Close enough. Okay, so you can see the moon squaring the north node and the south node. This is what we call a T-square, as many of you know. And whenever the moon's in a T-square to the north and south node, this happens twice a month. It really does feel like this emotional turning point. So with Chiron in the mix of this transit that played out overnight or maybe first thing in the morning, any sort of wounding we experienced, triggers we experienced, probably in a more gentle sense, just because it was a supportive angle to Chiron, those triggers, those healing realizations help us along this emotional turning point that we're going through right now. And because the north and south node are in fixed signs at the moment, we're having a lot of like breakthroughs anytime the moon squares the north and south node, just because it's like these emotional breakthroughs, fixed signs can force us to have a breakdown before we have a breakthrough. So hopefully we're just all open to the breakthroughs so we don't have to have the breakdowns. But that's sort of how we started our day or came into our day. Let's see what you all are saying. And then we'll talk about the main transit of the day that we're all feeling as we speak. Had a great day, went on a great shopping trip, sunny day in Montreal, Canada. Love that. I'm happy you're having a great day. Rachel says, this is probably why I couldn't wake up this morning. I've been working a lot and just feeling burnt out lately. So it might not be this like emotional trigger, like, but paying attention to the emotions that are coming up, even the more unpleasant emotions that are coming up, can show us like, how are we shifting? How are we changing? Where's the opportunity for a breakthrough here, right? Diane says she was very tired this morning too. Well, also what we're going into next is the moon forming a conjunction to Saturn, and that can bring some tired energy too. Lots of healing dreams, says Nikki. I love that. I had some really wild dreams this morning too. That were kind of like bringing up wounds, but also kind of healing. So I think we were having similar experiences. Oh, yeah, Rachel says, I guess burnt out with my healing journey. Like I just want to break from my mind, if that makes sense. That makes sense. It does make sense. I get it. I am one who is very much in my mind a lot of the time too, Mercury being our ruling planet. So give my advice here, not that you're necessarily seeking my advice, but when we get in this point of burnout, remember emotions are stored in the body. Emotions are stored in the body. So give yourself a break from your mind. Find healing in your body. And oftentimes when we think of like healing, we think of rest, but maybe try something different, a new way of healing, a new way of moving with the moon in Aquarius. And I will say, with the moon becoming full in Aries on Sunday, movement is going to be a really big ally for us in our healing journey. Mind you, this full moon is conjunct Chiron, which we will get into at the end of the week when we talk about the full moon. But just know that there's a lot of healing coming up. And I like that we get this little preview of that full moon conjunct Chiron today, like this nice supportive preview, like, okay, if anything's coming up now, just gently reminding us, what do we need to heal? So all that to say, take a break from your mind, get into your body a little bit, and allow that to be the healing. We can only do so much in our mind, and it's hard for those of us who are ruled by the mind, ruled by Mercury. We just think we can talk ourselves in and out of everything. Trust me, like, I am speaking from experience. But healing through the body, moving your body, going on a walk, letting your mind rest, doing some gentle yoga or some stretching. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you might be surprised how differently you feel just allowing emotion to be released from the body, or just let yourself have a good cry if you feel like crying, But today you might feel like kind of taking some time away, some distance, and having some downtime to move your body in a way that feels good for you might be really healing. Nikki says today seems lighter. That's beautiful. Beautiful. And also a note on the fact that we all experience the transits differently because all of our charts are oriented differently. All of us have different placements in different houses that are being activated. So what's going on in Aquarius for you? What is in Aquarius for you? That's probably being activated a little bit by this Aquarius moon. So Rachel and Diane, you probably both have Saturn in Aquarius, right? And so today's conjunction between the moon and Saturn really bringing up lessons that we've all been learning on our Saturn return. Oh, Nikki's moon is in Aquarius. So you're having your lunar return. You're like, oh, this feels natural to me. Like, this is my energy. Okay, the moon's in Aquarius, my moon's in Aquarius. There you go. So kind of an emotional return for you, which is a nice feeling. I usually enjoy my lunar return. Sometimes it brings up emotions, but a lot of times I'm like, oh, yes, this is my element, back in my energy. Oh boy, I plan on going for a walk today to break up my routine a little. Thank you for the advice. Of course. And remember, Aquarius rules the 6th house for you, right, Rachel, if I'm not mistaken? So that being said, changing your routine. You're already on track. Nick says, went to sleep at 12:30 last night when the Twilight Zone came on. Didn't really have any dreams. Feeling some burnout. And what's your rising sign again, Nick? Are you a Virgo rising or a Virgo sun? I can't remember. You got to remind me. But you might be the same thing, switching up your routine. The Aquarius moon does remind us to do things differently, to open to different perspectives. Nikki has a Virgo sun. There we go. Midheaven. So the moon going over your midheaven today, really marking this point of visibility for you, Diane. Maybe asking you, how are you showing up? What are your big goals? I love that this is happening too on your fiance's birthday as you guys are planning your wedding. It's really this point with the moon for you today, like, oh, okay, where are we going? How are we expanding right now? What are the long-term goals? Aquarius is your 4th house, so you might feel like being home today, Corby. Yeah, Saturn. Don't want to forget about him, right? He'll sneak up on you. I know. I'm so excited for Diane's reading next week. It's so fun to connect with all of you one-on-one and get to know your energy, get to know your chart more intimately. You might have noticed Rachel and I had a reading, so now I can picture her chart and be like, oh, this is probably what's going on for you, Rachel. That's one of the benefits of being a regular here, right? Do I think Vedic astrology is more accurate or Western? I personally use tropical astrology, Western astrology. I don't think one or the other is more accurate. I think it's just whatever you resonate with, you should follow. And that's something you have to kind of dive into for yourself. For me, Western astrology feels really accurate, and that's the confirmation I get when I share it with other people. But that's not to discount Vedic astrology. I think that they are both really beautiful practices of self-reflection. So excited. Okay, Scorpio rising. Yes. All right. So for you, The Aquarius moon might be bringing a little bit of tension, but it seems like you're doing all right, Nick. Got some funky styles leggings and Libra season, Libra rising. You're feeling yourself, Nikki. You're having your lunar return. Yeah, the energy is probably great for you right now. Yay, and a friendship reading. That's going to be so fun to sit down with both of you together. Okay, I've gotten off on a tangent. Let's talk about the main transit of the day. The moon forming a conjunction to Saturn and squaring Uranus. What we are feeling right now. So here's what that looks like. The moon and Saturn together in Aquarius, both squaring Uranus. And remember, Saturn and Uranus are in this long-term square, as we mentioned, okay? So what does this mean? Well, let's just start with the moon conjunct Saturn. When the moon forms a conjunction to any planet, our emotions are heavily influenced by that planet's energy. It's almost as if these two energies are blended when we have a conjunction. So Saturn is the great malefic. It's negativity, it's doubt, it's protection, it's fear. It's that father energy, like, wait, do you have everything? Do you have a solid foundation? Are you sure? You know, it's kind of that voice, like, or just kind of a no, like, no, don't do that. It's that authoritative voice inside of us that teaches us lessons and tries to keep us safe. But with the moon conjunct Saturn, especially the Aquarius moon, which tends to be a little bit more skeptical anyway, those fears and doubts can come up very easily today. So just notice your self-talk, those patterns coming up. Are they helpful? Is that voice saying like, oh, wait, don't do it. These are all the things you need to worry about. Is that helpful for you? Is that protecting you? Or is that prohibiting you from being in your fullest expression? So the voice is probably going to come up once or twice today. Either way, we're all experiencing the moon conjunct Saturn. Those of us with Saturn and Aquarius are really feeling that weight, that heaviness, that doubt today. But ask when that voice does come up, is this helpful? Is this productive? Is this really pushing me along and teaching me a lesson? Or is this something that's stopping me? Also, at the same time, when the moon squares Uranus, we're prone to outbursts, upsets, quick changes, even surprises, not necessarily positive ones either. So hopefully we all just skate past this transit today with nothing major happening, but we can use the positive potential of this transit when those fears and doubts come up, when we feel like rebelling a little bit, with Uranus being the planet of rebellion, to say or to ask ourselves yet again, how is this helping me? How is this moving me forward? What lesson is this teaching me? And the square to Uranus can bring change. So my advice here is to use that voice of doubt and ask, how can we transform? How can we transmute? How can we lean into the change so the change doesn't overtake us? There will be a lot of resistance during this transit. There's just no way around that. As much as I want to find a silver lining and tie a nice bow around this transit, it's not an easy one. So if you're feeling that heaviness, you're not alone, and there's a reason for it. But what lesson can you pull from it? Saturn always wants us to learn a lesson. It always wants to teach us a lesson, even if it's in a harsh way. And it might be in an upsetting way or a surprising way today. So just be open to change, open to shifting your perspective. That's going to be key to flowing with this transit. And you might be surprised by the changes that come from just staying open. Well, now I'm thankful for getting that frosty today. I need the comfort food. Thanks, Saturn. Yeah, you know, sometimes we can fall back into our comfort zone too, like resisting change. I could really see the square between Saturn and Uranus bringing a lot of resistance to change. Saturn in general is like resistance, right? If you had to sum up Saturn in a word, it's like hard lessons. And then, I mean, just both of them, Saturn and Uranus in this square together, bring a lot of resistance. And now that I'm saying that out loud, I'm like, I've been feeling a lot of resistance to change lately, or to the things I need to do, the duties, the responsibilities I have. If you've been feeling that too, we can thank this square between Saturn and Uranus. And you know, Speaking of this long-term square between Saturn and Uranus that we're really emotionally tapped into with the moon right now, conjunct Saturn, squaring Uranus, bringing this emotional awareness to this long-term transit, I want to look into and remind us how long we're feeling this square. Let me pull up, where is that calendar? One moment. No, that's not you. I forget where to find this calendar. And I'm like, it's always when I'm live too. It's pulled up on my other computer all the time. And I'm going to find it. I swear. I'm going to find it. There it is. Okay. So Saturn started squaring Uranus. You can see it on the chart right now, this dark red line going back to September. And remember, I mentioned this yesterday, but I did a whole video on the Saturn-Uranus square. If you want more of a breakdown of that, you can go find that. I believe I posted it around, let's see, September 15th. That's when this square started, or the degree began within a degree of the square, and it doesn't end until October 23rd. So we're here for a little bit, and we're really reviewing these big lessons, these big changes, our resistance to change, really through the month of October. So just know that this is a longer term theme that we're exploring right now, but today it might feel more like it's hitting home, more part of our emotional experience. Trying hard to embrace change, take lessons, learning a lot about people around me and how to handle situations. Boundaries are huge with this Saturn-Uranus square. What's my responsibility, what's not, how to balance. Beautiful. And as we talked about in that video I posted on September 15th, Uranus is all about innovation, new, change, the future. Saturn's all about the past, tradition, duty, responsibilities. So when they're clashing with each other in this 90-degree angle, I feel like your wedding planning process is probably a perfect example of this, Diane. Like wanting to do things in your own way, wanting to innovate, but then having elders represented by Saturn telling you, well, this is tradition, this is how you should do it, this is your responsibility, and having a wedding, So that's just a great microcosm or example of how all of us are experiencing this energy. How do we want to pave our own path with Uranus and Taurus? And where do we feel like we're still tied to tradition and that we want to honor tradition? Rachel's been feeling it too. I think that's where the burnout is coming from. Got to lean into that self-love and give myself grace. And that's always the answer, right? Self-love. The pushback you get from people often causes the burnout. Yes, right? Ooh, that is so powerful and defining my current experience. So thank you for being a mirror for me, Diane. The guilt I feel while trying to hold those boundaries is real. Ooh, I've been feeling this so much in my personal life. I was really actually, as I was getting ready for the live stream, contemplating a lot of these same themes in my life, some personal experiences I've had where people have really tested my boundaries and brought up a lot of triggers for me. And I've had to reflect on my own wounding, why I feel triggered in those situations, right? But also feeling really burnt out and not wanting to show up because I know that there's this tension in the air, right? Yes, letting things go with the flow. Don't try to get even, try to get ahead instead. Ooh, that's good. That's good stuff. Yeah, lots of lessons we can learn from these transits, right? There's always a lesson to be learned. So the more open we are to the lesson, the easier it will be to move forward, right? Not always easy, though. That's for sure. There's definitely some resistance in the air today, some rebellion in the air today. Just the moon in Aquarius in general brings rebellion. And then with it squaring Uranus, like, hello, any sort of structure you've created for yourself, don't be surprised if you're like, I don't want to do that. Like, I just don't want to do that today. Let's come back to our affirmation of the day. I witness my feelings and honor my full range of emotions. This is today's affirmation because, like I said, the emotions we feel today might not be the easiest. The moon conjunct Saturn, like it's going to bring up those fears, those doubts, even sadness, negativity, tiredness, as many of us were talking about. But remember, you're here to experience a full range of emotions. You're not here to just be happy all the time or to be in joy all the time. Of course, that's what we want, but it's just not realistic. And we wouldn't be able to appreciate the joyful moments if we didn't understand that they are fleeting, that they don't last forever, that sometimes we're in an emotional dip and we experience sadness. So it's okay to experience a full range of emotions. Giving yourself grace is important, and knowing that you're not alone, and we all experience all the emotions. We live in a world of social media where everybody shows up with a smile on their face and posts the highlights, but a lot of times behind the scenes, life isn't perfect. Yeah, I'm glad that resonated with you, Diane. And I felt like we needed a little bit of light today, so we're going to pull from the Light Seers Tarot. Feels like it might bring us just a little boost on a day that's a bit heavy. You know the drill. As always, this is your time to ask questions, share intentions, reflections, or just tell me what you're doing with your day. Right now, I'm actually trying something new thanks to the Aquarius moon, maybe also this square with Saturn, Uranus. I'm live on TikTok right now. I've never gone live on TikTok. I finally got past like 1,000 followers. Whoa. Okay. Well, there it is. There's our card, the Hanged Man. Seems pretty fitting already. Flew right out of the deck for us. So let's see what it has to say. I love this illustration of the Hanged Man too. Of course, the Hanged Man is in most tarot decks, all tarot decks, I think. But in this case, it's a hanged woman, and she is like it's card number 12, and she's doing like silk. It looks like she's hanging from a silk. You know, the Hanged Man, I think, is often like a man being hanged, or maybe that's traditionally what it was. But this feels a lot more empowering. Like she is hanging because she wants to hang, not because she's being hanged, right? Here is what it says. And I'm not sure if I pulled it upright or in reverse, so I'm just going to read both. Surrendering to the will of the cosmos. An intentional pause, reflection, letting go, embracing the new, realigning with your heart and purpose, new wisdom found, spiritual teachings, sacrifice, enlightenment. Wow, that's a lot for one card. Also, stagnation, self-sabotage, holding on to something that isn't meant for you, stubbornness, a tendency to be a martyr. Ooh, okay. Definitely a feeling of resistance coming up. Okay, here is the full description. Flow with it. Divine wisdom spills forth in moments of deep flow, and the Hanged Man is offering you the chance to look at something from a completely different perspective. Hello, Aquarius moon. When you let go of that thing that's got you stuck, you will make space for new insights and vantages to shift into place. Open your heart to the bigger plan, and you'll inadvertently tap into a whole new framework from which to see the world. Know that your path and your dream may look unfamiliar to you after you relinquish the need to direct the outcomes. Surrender to the will of the cosmos and realign your life with its sacred patterns. The universe already known which life-altering lessons... Let me say that again. The universe already knows which life-altering lesson is the key to your happiness. Ooh, the universe already knows which life-altering lesson is the key to your happiness. And your higher self has so much wisdom for you when you intentionally pause to listen. I lean into my inner world of limitless miracles, surrendering to the divine of the cosmos. Beautiful. Opening us to new perspectives today. Yes, I love this. And trying new things. Flowing with new things. We love that. This card really hit home for me. Letting go. It says when you let go of that thing that's got you stuck, letting go of the resistance. There's so much resistance that we're talking about today. You make space for new insights and vantages to shift into place. Remember too, with the moon squaring Uranus, insights can come through in a surprising way. So letting go of that resistance, letting go of control, which is difficult to do today. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy to let go of control when the moon is conjunct Saturn. But if we are intentional, if we Go with the flow, just like Nick said. I mean, he said that right before we read that card. Letting things go with the flow. I swear he called this card in, Nick. Insights are possible today. Really affirming that good things can come even in the midst of resistance, right? Yes, exactly. Nick totally called the card, go with the flow. That was wild. And hit home with him too. I love that. Rachel says, hey, TikTok. Plan on working, going for a walk, resting. Got to work on that logo for my friend. Lots to do this month, but you got this. And remember, you have time. You have time. Slow down, be patient, go with the flow. Hi, Katie. Perfect time to receive the message for today. I love that. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for this episode of Transits today. I hope that you don't experience too much resistance today, but if you do, remember that you have a community of people behind you reminding you to let go and go with the flow, as has come up so much in today's episode. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday, of your Mercury day, and it is Mercury day, so it's easy to get stuck up in this noggin of ours, right? Up in our brain, but come back into the body. Rachel reminded us it's easy to get stuck in our mind, but make sure you're spending time in your body, releasing through your body, literally flowing emotions through your body, because that's where they are stored. Rachel says a lot of child wounds came up this week. Thanks, Chiron, right? Trying to figure out a way to let go of it because it is like ingrained in me. Move your body. Move your body. You're probably storing a lot of trauma in the body, which it sounds so simple and it's not, but you might be surprised. Try a different kind of movement too. Maybe step out of your comfort zone a little bit. You guys are so cute to each other. Put on music, dance, close the door. Don't let anybody see you. Don't even look in the mirror. Just see how your body wants to move today. Wishing you a great day. Thank you for being here, Diane. Katie's having a pretty good day today. Going for a walk right now. Already aligned with the transits. She usually is. All right. Don't forget to move your body. Don't forget to go with the flow. These are reminders for me too. Trust me. I need all of the wisdom that came through this live stream today. It was very on point for me. So I appreciate you all being mirrors for me and being part of this community that we're creating together. This live stream is just as healing for me as I hope it is for you. And I will see you all right back here tomorrow. We will have some good stuff to finally talk about again tomorrow. Not that this hasn't been great, but we've been talking about the moon for a while. Tomorrow, let's see, Mercury is harmonizing with Pluto, Mercury trine Pluto. So we'll dive into that transit, very transformative. So you might be starting to feel that transformation picking up a little bit. So know that there is a level of intensity there too, mental intensity that we're feeling. And again, I cannot stress this enough. Move your body today. Let those emotions flow through your body. Okay, that's it for me. I love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.